Hi everyone, welcome. Today I am trying to make, well, it was supposed to be something for Christmas, but it didn't turn out Christmassy, so this is where it's at. I am starting off with book pages, and here I am trying to remember how to make paper flowers. So I'm supposed to start off with a square, so I'm just folding my page so that it will become a square, folding and cutting. And then I fold from the bottom up, and then from the bottom of the fold, the bottom right of the fold, I take it left a little more than halfway up, fold the diamond in half, and then the excess I fold it back. So on in front there I cut a curve. Here I'm checking now to see if it worked, and yes it did. I remembered. So now I'm going to make another square from that piece of page, which is a rectangle. So I'm going to make a smaller one. So I fold bottom up, take it from the right, carry it to the left about a quarter way down, then fold that diamond part in half and fold the back, well, that excess to the back. And there I cut under the edge of the last fold, which will give me my flower. And here I'm looking at the, what do you call that? The negative of it, and I'm keeping it, of course. So I had made some from before, and I just took them out just to see if I would use them. And now I'm taking out all my other pieces, which I sorted basically according to size. And I'm searching to see how many flowers I could make from this batch that I pulled out. What I'm doing is trying to match up or have a big enough contrast of color and pattern and texture, because some pages are smooth. Those pages with the edges, what I did was I sprayed the edges before I cut it. So after I folded it, I put ink, or I think it was paint on the edges, then I opened it. Then I opened it. So I folded, cut, then inked my edges, then opened it, and that's how the edges look like that. So here now I'm finding some different shaped ones. I guess I made different cuts. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. And some of them I used from my daughter's storybooks that she doesn't read anymore, that aren't good. You know, you could use pages from anywhere, everywhere. Magazines, newspapers, book pages. Just plain old paper. Those, the red, the yellows, those are plain. I love the little ones as well. They're so cute. So now I'm checking to see how many flowers I could get from these sizes and colors and shapes that I have. See that one there? That one was strange. It was really nice, but it was too differently shaped, so I decided not to use it. I think I was experimenting with different cuts. Instead of the regular, just, simple curve, I was experimenting with different types of cuts, and that's how I got those different shapes. So here I'm still sorting, rearranging, hemming and hawing, realizing that some of the colors are just too close to each other. Some of the textures are too close to each other. It's too similar, I wanted more of a contrast, so it'll have more. I really love that one. I was sad that I had to cover it up. And while doing this, though, it made me realize that I need to make more of certain shapes, sizes. So it was actually a good thing that I ended up doing this. So I definitely needed some more of the really small ones, and more of the medium-ish ones in specific colors or textures, you know. So it was a good thing to do. I love that blue one there. Oh my goodness. So sad it had to get covered. Loved it. Some papers you can actually dye it before. You know, you could spritz it with different colors, or you know, just kind of get it tie-dyed, and it really does, you know, when you cut it out you get some nice patterns and some nice colors. I used the food coloring to dye my own. See, that one was dyed, I think it was before I opened it as well. And then the different pages would soak up the moisture in a different way. So it's a nice experiment, nice thing to do. So now I finally decided what I'm going with, and packing it back. And then I have to glue everything together. And I'm just gluing the centers so that it could still, I'm using tacky glue, so that it could still, the edges all around will still lift up. These I don't even, these are they're like foil, like, you know, those beady foils, but not beads, they're kind of flat. That's what these are, and I'm just using it as my centers. Right, so I got all stuck. Now to get them out the way so I could prepare my surface to apply, I'm going to cover this board with gesso. I'm wetting it with water and adding the gesso because the gesso is a bit thick and I just want to thin it out. I don't want a heavy layer. This is food coloring diluted with pipe water that I put in a spritz bottle, and I'm just coloring my surface. Here I'm attempting to pick up the excess with book pages because it was just too wet and it would have taken too long to dry, so I just used it to mop up some of the excess, which is cool because I ended up, you know, coloring my pages, which is cool. Now I'm going to add some stamping. It's a script stamp. I'm just applying it all over the surface. Now that's done, I am trying to spray through this to create a stencil type thing happening, but I don't know if the food coloring was too wet. I don't know, it just didn't work out the way that I was hoping. It just spread. It just spread. So now I'm attempting, I think I was a bit upset, I don't know, but I just decided to slap the excess moisture onto the surface, and it actually left a decent print. I was like, wow. So now I'm going in with black, and this is when I realized it wasn't too Christmassy anymore. I'm just gonna apply it to the edges, and the plan was to apply it to the edges and bring it in slightly, but it ended up coming in a lot. And then I found it was too black, so I decided to give it a hint of blue. So I kind of mixed in some blue in between. What I didn't mix it together, I just, did it as I was going. And I like that a lot. I do. I love it. And then because I was trying to get a specific effect, I ended up coming into the page a lot more than I had planned. And that's when I just kind of went with it. I went with the flow of it. Yeah, I actually kind of had a plan this time, but things happened, and it's a good thing that I usually just kind of go with it. So now, since it's not turning out the way the picture was in my head, I decided it was too much, so I decided to cut it down. Looking at the line now, it looks quite crooked. I didn't measure, I just estimated. But I decided to cut it down. There is a lot of dark, I should say, in this, but that's okay. I'm trying to straighten the surface now, and here comes the flowers that I made. So even though it's not Christmas anymore, it's not a Christmas themed piece anymore, I still decided to continue with my wreath, quote unquote. And I've had these butterflies. This is actually a gift for a friend who I just haven't been able to meet up with as yet, but it's there for her. And here I am blocking out my words on my stencil using masking tape, because I do not want to pick up any of the other words, any piece of the word at all. So I'm just blocking it off so I could safely apply, get my word down on the surface. I decided to go with blue. I found that the dark was very dark, and I wanted to kind of bring it back in to tie it in with the rest of the page. So I went in with white acrylic paint, and I'm just doing the same script stamp but with white acrylic paint, and I found that looked much better. I'm cleaning it off with a baby wipe and going again, reconstructing my circle, my wreath, quote unquote. I was wondering if I should have changed the shape or done something different, but I was like, nah, I'll just continue. So here I am going with my words, and I'm decided to be different and go with blue paint, thinking that will tie in with the hint of blue in the black. And the other side kind of looks kind of bluish, sort of. So, and there are some hints of blue in some of the flowers. That was my reasoning, but I found that it did not really show up. It's kind of lost. So I have to rethink my approach, but I still decided to continue because that side of the page is lighter. So I still decided to continue and see how it would look. I dried the first word because I didn't want, when I put down a stencil again, for it to smudge in any way. So I'm drying that, and I'm looking at it, and then I realized it's just not standing out, and it just didn't look right. So I'm going over it with white acrylic paint to blend it out, and also to blend out my background, so that when I go over it again, it would actually stand out. So I'm just trying to push that part of the page back. Here I'm trying to blend the white back into the black. I didn't stick these down yet because I still wasn't sure if this was what I wanted. So I just left it there to see how I felt about it. And I decided, okay, it's good enough, so I'm sticking it down. Sticking them down. And I like how the butterflies look there as well. So what happened here is my camera stopped and I didn't realize. So I used a dry paintbrush to add strokes of glue on, and then I took gold glitter and I used my finger to just I just sprinkled it on where I brushed the glue, and then I dusted it off because I felt like I just felt like it needed some gold and some shimmer, and I really loved how it looked. So I decided to make the words sparkle as well. So I just applied the paint and then I put the glitter over it and I prayed that it would stick. So I'm drying it and blocking it with my hand so it doesn't blow all over the place. And I really like it. So I'm going in again. Looking at it now, maybe I should have used maybe white paint instead, but I don't know. So I'm using black and blue again to do the stenciling, just as the background. It's not just plain blue. Before it dries, I'm adding the glitter through the stencil. Here I'm just making sure it's in good. Glitter is very messy, but I love it. Can't tell though, because I don't use it often, do I? But I really do love it. Dusting off the excess. I stuck down the butterflies. I just stuck the middle of them down so the wings could pop up. So when it's on the wall, you know, the wings would be popped up. And if there's light shining, it will actually cast a shadow. Which is pretty cool. There you can see it a bit. It's nice. And that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it inspires you to create a piece as well. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Bye.